Hello, this is Dale. I'm joined by Mike, and we're fresh from our triumph last night of the first time in Josephine County history we actually webcast a 2-hour meeting. What's your verdict about that, Mike?
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, there was naturally because when you do stuff like this, you start picking it apart, and there are a few things that could have been better. But you know what? The general, this has allowed people who weren't able to be there, and also. It created a recording that, of course, anybody can watch now, and well over, I think it's like 120 people have watched it now.
Now, by being there, he does not mean an old movie with Peter Sellers. What he's
Yes.
talking about is last night at the Ann Basker Auditorium from 6:30 to 8:30. Mike and I were there live, and we were webcasting. I keep having to think of the right word. We were webcasting our normal nightly television show. It lasted for 2 hours. I know sometimes it seems like it's lasting for 2 hours,
Yeah.
and we were able to carry the entire anti-levy kind of presentation about with all the facts and figures.
Well, I
Go
mean,
ahead.
when you say anti-levy, it makes it sound so negative. And in reality, it was the most positive news you could possibly hear. It was the counter to everything we've been hearing, and it was such a relief just to be in that room, that same room, where so much negativity takes place. And I'm not talking about the people who stand up and speak their mind. I'm talking about the people who spout the same kind of scare tactic BS, quite frankly, that we hear all the time in local media. And that was effectively countered last night. And I thought it was fantastic.
Isn't it amazing that I hadn't anticipated this? Maybe you have, but isn't it amazing that what's happened is all of the facts and figures are now on the pro-choice, pro-levy, anti-levy.
Yes.
Well, all of
JocoAlert.com.
the side that always wins. We have
Yes.
a decade of back-to-back nothing but wins, and
Yes.
we've got all the facts and figures. I'm not making this up. The other side, is amazing, has decided that they're going to say none of the facts and figures make any difference. Well, of
Right.
course they don't, because they don't have any. I mean, I'm not making this up. I'm not just saying this for hyperbole. Even Simon Harris today, he stopped in for a few minutes to watch the proceedings, and he decided to say at a public meeting today in the little back room, well, all those facts and figures don't make any difference when you're standing on the road. Really, all the facts and figures? It's like, who is this guy that said, Scott Draper said, this doesn't make any difference. This doesn't make any difference, Scott? Really? It doesn't make any difference at all?
Yeah,
All these millions
yeah.
coming in?
Well, you know what? Listen, if you examine this honestly and be honest with yourself, because if you have allowed this thing to scare you, if you have allowed the stories to scare you about what they say is going on, you really need to stop for a minute, and stop feeling and start thinking, and go view the presentation. Go to badcounty.com, click on Wednesday, and you can view it and see the facts for yourself. And we're not making this stuff up here, people. You can go. The sources are all there. You can go do your own research. But somehow I'm going to finagle myself into some false sense of security by raising my own property taxes and gaining nothing from it. Why would I want to do that?
Well, it seems obvious to me, and as we've been saying, when people out in the county, and we are talking about people in the county, not we all know, don't argue with you, oh, the cities in the county, shut up, I know,
they
already know
understand
that,
what you
okay.
mean.
All right, so when people out in the county have had enough of anecdotal, or as Simon puts it, antidotal evidence that there's thievery around them, when they feel that the cost-benefit analysis is in favor of raising their own property taxes, then they'll do so. Until then,
Right.
who are you to argue about the democratic process or even the Republican process? It's ridiculous. Just suck it up and say, okay, we've heard you. We're also red, white, and blue. Are you? Really?
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is why, and I'm gonna sound like a one-note tune here. That you need to go watch the video. Go to JocoAlert.com. They have the stats right there on the website, and study the thing. Understand what it is understand what has you fearful here. Gain some power over it with some knowledge and understanding what's really going on, instead of you're chasing a solution. You know, this is like taking the blue pill. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that's amazing to me is millions of dollars come in. The head people of the pro-levy movement say those facts don't make any difference to me. Really? They don't make any difference. Okay, so we get the information from the sheriff's department, from the state troopers, from the FBI. Those facts don't make any difference to me. Really?
Right.
Okay, all these things come down. How much has been spent on the jail? What makes any kind of sense? The vehicles that are absolutely totally unusable after 90,000 miles. None of these things can make any difference to you if you don't want to listen to any of the facts. Well,
Right.
They have to say no to everything. Everything?
It's a completely emotion-based argument, and let's be clear about what it is when you have resorted to the emotion-based argument, is because logic has failed you, and you only have to do that when you're, I don't want to say lying, so help me out. If there's some other deception that you have to do to scare the people, and here's the bottom line, is that there's an agenda happening here. There are these people want money, and they want it to fund their little programs and stuff, and some of it may go to law enforcement, which will be beneficial to law enforcement, but some of it is also going to PERS. Some of it is also going to things that are beneficial to the people who are financing this levy push.
It makes it sound like we're just nothing but professional complainers. First of all, we're not paid, so we can't be professionals. We're amateur complainers. Okay. The other thing is, I kind of like that sheriff. I kind of like that guy. But he has actually said, the sheriff actually said to us and to you, perception is reality. What?
Yes.
I mean, really?
Here's the problem with that. He knows what the facts are.
Yes.
He knows them.
Unfortunately, I have to, and that being the case,
call you.
and that being the case, then our answer to him is, here's a whole stack of perceived money. Are you happy now?
Yes, right. Yes. Let's give him some perceived money. So, what is that? Some sort of a blimp magazine or something there that you got on your computer behind you?
Oh, this thing? No. This is a magazine I wish we had locally. Can you read what it says?
Yes, it looks like Court of Public Opinion.
And what do you see here, buddy? 3 lemons, clunk, clunk, clunk. That's these 3 lemons right here. And let me tell you what this says over here. I love this quote. This is directly from one of the county commissioners' meetings in the little back room. And Simon Hare is saying, he's saying to Wally Hicks, our new county legal counsel, Simon Hare is saying, get this exact quote here, there may be laws. We know that there are. But there also may not be. What? There may be laws. We know that there are. But there also may not be. Clunk, clunk, clunk.
Well, he has to be referring to something specific, so how could that be?
Right. And what kind of logic does this make? Okay, and this is the kind of stuff I see every single day, including today, which is Thursday. This is the big day of the week where all the real activity goes on in a little back room. All the decisions are made. There are those among you who may remember that Simon Hare used to chide us in the audience when he was chair, and he said, I just want to let you know we never take votes in the little back room. He accidentally said little back room, and now they're all calling it that. That's my phrase. We never take votes back there. We always bring the things here. This is not ceremonial. We make decisions back there, but I'm paraphrasing now, of course, but we always bring them to the weekly business session a week later so that you know what we're doing, and we make the votes here. Then, it's like a year later, he's saying, well, I know that, boy, was I surprised. Mr. Matthews is probably sitting out there saying, they're always talking about me at the meetings. Get over it. I rent space in their head. And they're saying, he's saying, Mr. Matthews over there is probably saying to himself, well, they promised they would never vote in those meetings back there. Well, we don't, or we do, or we can, or we won't. That's what they do, and that's what they did today, too. They're taking votes in the little back room. You know nothing about what they voted on. And you will not know anything unless you watch our show. Honestly, to be honest about it, it's certainly not going to be a Keijo. You can forget that. I mean, that's not news. But if you want to know every crime that's happened in this area and everything that was thought to be a crime, and even crimes in New Jersey, that's your place to go. That's all that they report now. Committee appointments and crime. Well, where is this perception? Perception is reality. Where does it come from? From people who are promoting the levy. Come on. Okay, so, yeah, they took some votes today. So I'll tell you about some of the stuff that happened. They had somebody come in and talk about juvenile dependency, and how we really need to take part of this money. They've already started spending it, buddy. You know that it's true. And they're going to spend it on trying to reduce the harm to children in our area. Now, you may recall, Mike will recall this, there we were at the weekly business session, and Cheryl Walker's talking about her vote on this thing about the Second Amendment, because she voted no. I don't want to be part of that agreement. Right?
Yes,
and so a lot of people apparently sent her emails or tried to call her, or were commenting in the Daily Courier about Cheryl Walker and is she really an American? Does she really believe in the Second Amendment? She said, no, I don't like this thing. I'm not going to vote for it. So I'm seated there, and Cheryl Walker, at the end, during her protected time where nobody can answer or say anything, or even, you can't even silently laugh to yourself, completely silently. You can't do that if Keith Heck is around, because he'll threaten to throw you out of the room for laughing with no sound. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And so she says, well, people have been criticizing my family. I'm thinking, what? Who's criticizing her family? There's nobody criticizing her family. And what does this have to do with anything?
But wait, there's more.
Yes, they're criticizing her family? What's up with this? Then, she says, my family, my son, he's with the military. Thank you, sir. Honestly, thank you for doing that. But then she starts almost blubbering. How many times have you seen a politician look like they're going to break down in tears? The children think, and so she did that again today at this Thursday meeting. We need to put more money into it because think about the children. Think about the children. I looked over at Vivian Kirkpatrick Pilger, and we both were like, ugh. I mean, come on. What about the kittens? Mike, what about Sunshine?
Well, I'm against it. I am against it. I'm going to come out and say it right now. I'm against kittens.
Yeah, okay.
Sunshine.
Honestly, now.
Why do you think I wear sunscreen? I hate the sun.
Well, and Simon wears sunglasses on top of his head even when he's inside of a darkened room.
Right, he hates it too. He's not willing to admit it.
Well, I should talk. I got the Mickey Mouse ears, or should I say the Barack Obama ears here on every night. Okay. So Barack Obama, that was a joke just for Mike. Oh, no, I'm not joking. I never joke on the show. Don't point out anything about that, Dale. Okay, I'm not.
Well, hey, you know what? Just a brief departure back to the previous topic. Do you know the Courier actually put on the front page? There's a picture of Joseph Rice on there, and they did talk about the event,
Oh,
And
what did they say? What did they say, that it was people were gnawing on the furniture and running around the room yelling "woot woot"?
no, they didn't.
I don't read
They
the
said
Courier.
that the claim was that, to be fair here, while we were talking here, I flipped it up and just boom. I haven't had a great deal of time to look at it.
Multitasking again. Yeah, that's Mike.
Multitasking, but it says
Me, I'm
that
paying attention to the audience. You do whatever you like.
right. The headline, it says, let's see here. Group says safety tax proposal not necessary. County doesn't need extra money because we're safer now than we were 20 years ago. And it's Sean Hall reporting, and basically starts going into some of the claims, and I haven't gotten to the part where they.
Well, weren't we a bunch of angry people? That's what he said last time. The one guy at that previous meeting, the one guy that was somewhat disruptive and angry, was a pro-levy guy. And Sean Hall quoted him like crazy.
Yeah.
That's nice. Well, okay, you go ahead and read the Courier and follow the Courier if you like, Mike.
At least they reported it.
Yeah, at least they did. Yeah, the guy was there. Simon Harris showed up for a short time, and then at today's meeting, he felt compelled, even though nobody asked him, to say his verdict of the meeting last night, that you should watch at least some of it, okay? It has a fun little opening and stuff by us because we're there live and the first time anyone's done it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it is the first time. Anyway, so Simon comes back and he says something about he says, I'm going to paraphrase, but we'll put up the video of him saying this. All those facts and figures, they really don't mean anything when you're standing on the road. Really? All the facts and figures don't mean anything?
Okay, hang on a second. I don't know what that means. Okay, I suppose I'm going to suppose that that is supposed to mean that when I'm out there and I'm unsheltered from the weather and I'm in a hostile area, I'm not going to feel better having known those facts and figures because I could be attacked and assaulted at any time.
This is Simon Hare at a weekly business session.
Well, but,
That's why they have a sheriff deputy there. They're sure that we're going to attack at any time. Like Keith Heck's impression of that terrible Judy Aarons. The Judy Aarons that was screaming at the meeting, tearing up the furniture, throwing things, yelling expletives. She must be stopped along with the rest of us.
Is this who we've become?
Yeah.
A bunch of people who are scared of our own shadows here, for crying out loud. I thought this was America. And by the way, the crime rate really is lower than it was 20 years ago. This is not smoke and mirrors here. It really is. So, pull your head out, people.
Well, let's suppose that it's absolutely true that we knew from God on high that our crime rate was lower. Let's just suppose that for a second, because you might have some doubts. Even I feel a little funny. Gee, is that really true? I still do, a little bit, okay? But when you look at the facts and figures, okay, let's suppose that that's true. What's happened to us? Why are we thinking, as the police chief recently said, they thought that they were doing stuff that they weren't doing. He confirmed that. We have the tape. We've shown it to you on this show. So what's happening to us? Who's affecting us? Who benefits from making us feel that way? Really, who is trying to manipulate us and succeeding?
Okay, well, listen, you know what it is they're flogging us with negativity all the time.
No, wait. Cheryl Walker said that BadCounty.com. Cheryl Walker says that BadCounty.com is a negative influence that's making people not move here.
No. Listen, you know what? Let's make a clear distinction between the negativity that they talk about at the weekly business session. In other words, shut up, don't talk. We don't want to hear you say anything because we know you've been watching us and you know what we're doing. No, the negativity I'm talking about here is this thing is. You're living in a dangerous county. Your county is being overrun by thieves. Your county is being overrun by people who want to sow the seeds of hate and discontent. It's the Wild West out there. There's no safety. You're unsafe all the time. And after a while, people start repeating it, and you go, oh, my God, I'm starting to really feel unsafe.
Well, even Bill Meyer, I like Bill Meyer, but Bill Meyer says he doesn't like to drive through Cave Junction. Bill, stop
You know what?
driving.
Listen,
What?
listen. You people are under hypnosis. Okay,
Not our
not
viewers.
not
Not our
law.
viewers.
No, no, but I'm speaking generally here. But the
Yes.
thing is that this mantra, is just hammered at us incessantly.
Yeah.
And now and boy, right now, if you don't believe it and espouse it, you're a bad person.
We are against children, for one.
Sick
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
I'm sick of that. The only thing that they're not doing is call us racists and sexists. I mean, if it was in their ability to do that, they would, in order to pass the levy. That's how desperate these people are. It's by any means necessary.
Well,
And
even Dennis Weber, the head of the Parkway Christian Church, said that people who are against the levy are in favor of chaos.
Well, see, the thing is, he's bought into it too. The thing is they just keep flogging this thing constantly, and you're supposed to just go, oh yes, oh yeah, wow, boy, I feel bad, I'm unsafe, I better pay more money.
Carl Wilson of CAJO, who's now our state representative, said that those who vote against the levy, he will not share his community with us.
Yes. Listen, all Kool-Aid all the time. Just keep on drinking it, baby. That's I'm starting to lose any sort of sympathy. I wanted to be nice to people about this situation, but you know what? No, this is a royal scam being pulled on us here.
But you're not gonna have Carl Wilson's community shared with you if you have that opinion.
I don't care. I don't care. I mean, listen, if he doesn't want to share the community with me, he can leave, because I'm not going anywhere.
It's just amazing to me that we keep hearing things. I mean, when Scott Draper is arguably, easily the head of the movement, when he says that all this millions of dollars coming in now, thank God, really, honestly, that means absolutely nothing. Wait a minute. Nobody believes it means absolutely nothing. What are you saying, Scott Draper? Why would you say that? And when we got Cliff Thomason, two of these four goofy things come from Cliff, from the same guy. One is the ISF is 1/2 of 1%, Cliff. And the other is, no, it's 10%, but it's 10%, but the sheriff is going to get back 15. That's from the same guy. Wait, Cliff, what are you saying?
Yeah.
What I don't like is if they're going to say let's rely on no facts and figures at all, which is a very odd thing for anyone who's trying to get you to vote on something to say, then don't tell us lies and say, oh, these are good replacements for facts and figures. It makes me have a tendency to, I don't know, not believe you anymore.
Yes. You know what? Listen, I really would love to audit the books at Cuffs and find out where this money's coming from, because I'll tell you something, there's a lot of money pouring into this.
That's a lot of money.
And I doubt very seriously it's all coming from here. I have a feeling that the union is pushing a lot of this stuff, and you know what? If that makes me a conspiracy theorist, then so be it. I believe that they have the most to gain from this, and this whole thing, understand this is a quid pro quo situation. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'm going to throw you some ISF money, you throw me a good deal at the next union negotiation, and you throw a few bucks into PERS. And of course, they're getting probably a 10-to-1 payoff on that $100,000 if they're successful.
Well, the other thing that bothers me
meets the eye
is I come from a science background, and so one of the last things that they have, the fig leaf, the last thing that they have is, but this survey, this was a scientific survey. You know what? Scientific surveys are not done by someone you pay, 25, 100,000, whatever the amount is. Scientific surveys are not done by someone who pay and then turns around and says, okay, now that we've done this scientific survey, we're going to help you pass it. That's not
Right. No,
scientific.
that's yeah. That's not objective. What that's a political consultant is what that is, and they told you how to push poll it. And push polling is the act of phrasing the questions in such a way to manufacture the answers that you get.
We
And
just heard it
anybody,
on. We just heard it on Wednesday morning. Simon Harris says, but we've polled the people. Another poll. Listen. We have something. It's even better than a poll. It's more scientific than a poll. It's called a vote.
It's called a poll.
Yeah, it's called a vote, and we have that in our county, and we've got a decade of it. And so
Yes.
the people are confused. No. We're not the ones with the learning difficulty. That's you. Okay, and we did this. We said, do we have the right amount of police covers? No, that's not the right question. Are you willing to pay more? Oh, that would be a completely different answer, Simon, and you know that it would be. Because they keep telling you, no, we're not willing to do that. So what are you talking about? That's not scientific either.
Well, I was flabbergasted.
Oh, no.
Flabbergasted.
Now you sound like John Harrelson. I was flapdoodled.
Yeah. Yes, I was I was flapdoodled as well to discover what people are paying around this county in terms of the dollars per thousand. That's unbelievable. Some people are paying, upwards of $12 a 1,000. That is incredible to me. And I'm sure it's an all said and done, tally of things. But for crying out loud, that is that's unbelievable. And it'll never be enough. By the way, and the people that are paying the most, of course, are the people in town, but they have full police protection, and that's where 80% of the crime is. So come on, wake up. 80% of the crime takes place under the watchful eye of a fully staffed police department with a 4-minute response time.
Fully staffed with a 4-minute response time. Now, how the heck are we supposed to do that on a countywide basis? They said last night how many there would be, like 97 patrolmen or something like
90,
that.
Yeah, 96. But it's a nearly subjective number because all of those 96 people would have to be evenly distributed throughout the county, and that's an impossibility. It really is an impossibility.
When the voters when they have their real perceptions of the crime that's surrounding them, and they feel that now it's really up to here, then they'll make a cost-benefit analysis, and they'll vote the way. Stop telling us how we feel. No, you feel in danger. No, I don't. The hell I do. No, I don't.
Right. Yes.
It's like that. It's like that movie I, Robot, where they break through the glass. You were experiencing a car accident. The hell I am.
Yes, right.
You were experiencing a crime wave. No, I'm not.
No, and this is a really good point that you're making, Dale. It's time for you to be a little bit more empowered. It's time for you to be a little bit more self-reliant and stand up and say, I'm not going to take this, and I'm not going to take it from you. I'm not going to take it from the sheriff's department. I'm not going to take it from the county commissioners. Yeah. I'm not going to take it from a criminal. I'm not going to take it from anybody. That's the American way.
Participate in our poll. It's called a vote. And It's coming up in May. And vote any way that you want to. I mean, you can vote along with the clunk, clunk, clunk crowd. You can vote anything that you want to. Okay, so how would the commissioners, I just got to do this slightly clunky transition here, how would the commissioners spend your money if they had more of it? And we saw another example today. Here you go. Mike's been waiting for this one. I told him. Okay. As soon as I told a couple other people about it, they went, what?
Give it to me.
Okay, so you remember the group out in IV? I like that guy. I like Roger Brandt. But he decided to tell the commissioners that if they built, are you tired of hearing this yet? If they built a couple of wheelchair ramps at a state park, that this would generate 214 up to 214 full-time family wage jobs after the ramps are built. Just a second.
Yes, and we've heard that. How many times have we heard this? We've already.
Oh, you haven't heard it enough.
The phrase is burned into my brain. I can repeat it in the middle of the night.
You haven't heard it enough, and neither have commissioners, because IVCDO, the same guy, put in a request to the commissioners, and they're going to give them the money. They now want to do another project. Are you ready for this? They want to put up an historic marker in IV. Yay.
Okay.
That's putting up that historic marker.
Is that actual size?
It might be. It might be a little bit bigger, but about the size of your head. Okay.
Okay.
So, so this historic marker is going to create 90 full-time family wage jobs that are permanent after it's been erected.
Oh, Lord help us.
90. Now,
a historic marker? I mean, what is this? Is going to the Tower of Babel that they're building here or something? Or what?
It might as well be 100, okay? But there's going to create... I even talked with Larry Ford. Larry Ford gets up at the county commissioners' meetings. Oh, you're doing a wonderful job. So I even talked with him, and I said, Larry, what do you think about this? He says, well, it seems like a little much. It seems like a little much. Yes, it does. I said, the reason this is happening is because the commissioners said, okay, we're buying into this 214 jobs, so why shouldn't the IVCDO, Roger Brandt, nice guy, why shouldn't they just repeat their previous success, and then once again, we should plaster this county with nothing but wheelchair ramps, and can you believe it? This is how the commissioners are spending your money.
I can believe it. I can believe it because I've seen enough of this already, but there's a direct correlation here.
Yes, there is.
What we were just talking about, because this is the mass hypnosis, and they're using what they know works on the commissioners, and they're using what they know.
90 jobs created by a plaque.
Yes, but they're using the same thing on the commissioners as the commissioners and the rest of I don't know what to class. I hate saying "good old boy network" because it makes you sound like you're a conspiracy
theorist. Don't say good. Just say old boy network. Really? I mean, what else can it be?
But the bottom line is that there's a bunch of people that want the levy, and they're all spouting the same song. We just keep saying the same thing over and over, and eventually we'll get. Well, these other people know what the mantra is, and it is, hey. Full-time family wage jobs. Yes, lots of them. Yes, if you put a marker in the ground right here, 90 full-time family wage. Really? Come on. That is the biggest crock there is. And even you levy proponent people can see that that's a crock. You can. Yes. You can. So now you know what we feel like when we're looking at your pro levy all feelings all the time campaign.
But you have to ignore the numbers. I mean, they tell you 214. You're going to have to ignore the fact that makes no sense. You have to ignore the fact that they're doing it again. 90 jobs. It's not going to. Can you imagine trying to get 90 people around just to build the thing?
Come on. You know what?
90.
And the fact that our commissioners, the three lemons on the screen there, the fact that they're buying into this stuff, this should tell you something here. We do not have the representation that we have are the all feelings all the time people, because the logic has left the building.
Okay, it's a little bit worse than that. Just a little bit worse than that. What the commissioner said at today's meeting, because they can see the cameras there, and it's, it doesn't whir or click, but I mean, they know I'm sitting there. And Simon kind of glances over and says, well, we're not actually depending on the jobs on this. And Cheryl Walker says, yes, that's probably based on some kind of, it's a good thing they're not depending on the jobs, right?
Well, you know what? He's finally catching on. I guess he's watched a couple videos.
Yes, and Cheryl Walker says, yes, that's probably based on a formula. But it's a formula that worked, right? And so they say, well, actually, this is a real good thing. Okay, maybe it's a good thing.
We need to have these kind of matrix.
But here's the bottom line. Remember why we heard about this last time? Because you watched us on BadCounty.com and we talked about it. And they actually brought it to a weekly business session to talk about it. You know what they decided? You can see it coming. What they decided at the end of this meeting, there's no need to bring this one to a weekly business. Yes, let's just pass this right now. Really? Yeah. So there's yet another. Let's not talk about new hires. Let's not talk about raises. Let's not talk about giving this money to these guys for 90 full-time family wage jobs that are permanent after the dang thing is built. Let's not talk about that. Too late. because we're there. You're sitting right next to me, and both of us are like, and I don't mean Mike and I mean Mike and you. I mean me and Mike. No, shoot, you know what I mean. I mean us, you in the audience and me. We're sitting right there and we're going, 90 jobs, snap out of it. What's the matter with you guys?
Okay, the question you have to ask yourself here is, what happened to the most transparent county administration in the world?
You know what?
What
Mike,
happened to it?
I'll tell you, buddy. This is transparency, but not the kind that they thought it was going to be. We know exactly what they're doing, how they're, on what they're basing their decisions, nothing, and it is the kind of transparency that they just wish didn't exist.